3D tunnels are one of the coolest transitions that you can use in your AMVs. And if you ever watch creators like GOJO or Sanjeev, you know exactly how amazing they can look. Hey there, it's me, SKD, your ultimate guide to DaVinci Resolve. And today I'm showing you exactly how to create a tunnel transition step by step. Plus, I will also show you a simple trick using overlays that will make your edit pop even more. And as always, I'll also be sharing project files in a community post which will be available for the channel members only. So if you are interested, you can get it for just 29 rupees. Alright, let's jump in. Okay, so here I am on the edit page, and as you can see, I've already added two clips. The first clip is the one that we're going to transform into a tunnel, and the second clip will reveal through that tunnel. Now for this first clip, I am using a still image because the anime version doesn't include his entire face, and I needed to see it because it's kind of creepy, which looks pretty cool. But if you want, you can use the video as well. Just make sure to convert it into a still image after moving 10 to 15 frames forward. Okay. Now the first thing we're going to do is make a copy of our first clip and place it on top of the second clip. So to do this, simply press Alt, then click on this first clip and drag it upwards to make a copy. Now select this clip and place it in the beginning of our second clip. Now we need to increase its duration until it fits properly with this second clip. Simply go to the end of this clip, then click and drag it until it fits properly with this second clip. Now just place the playback head on top of it and open it in the Fusion page. Okay, so what we're going to do here is create a mask for this image. We basically want to split it into two parts, and this will be the bottom part. So in order to create it, just click on this media in on node and add a polygon node to it. Now the moment you add the node, you will see everything has disappeared. But in order to create the mask, we need to see the image. So what we're going to do is simply go to the inspector and disable the polygon node for now. Now just go to the viewer, then press Ctrl and use the mouse wheel to zoom in like this. Then go somewhere around here and start creating the mask. You don't have to be totally precise for this, just create a rough mask like this and make sure to cover the edges properly. I'm going to skip this process to save the time. Alright, so here I'm done with the masking. Now if I go to the inspector and enable the polygon node, you will see we'll have something like this. So this is our bottom. Now we just need to create the top part. And to do this, just open it in the edit page. Okay, so now what we're going to do is make a copy of this clip. So for that, simply press Alt, then click and drag it upwards to make a copy, then open it in the Fusion page. Okay, so this will be our top part, and to create it, we just need to invert the mask. So click on this polygon node, then go to the inspector and tick this invert box. Now let's go to the edit page once again, and we have our full image. So it's about the time that we create our animation, and for that we need to open all these three images into Fusion. So what we're going to do is simply select all of this image, then right click on any of them and convert them into Fusion clip. Now simply open them in the Fusion page. Alright, so once we're in Fusion, we'll have something like this. Now the first thing we're going to do is simply select all these merge nodes, then press backspace to delete them. We don't need them because we're going to convert each of our clips into 3D. Okay, now let me just select this media in nodes and drag them somewhere around here. Then I will click on this background node and place it somewhere around here. Alright, now let's convert each of our clips into a 3D node. To do this, we need to use the image plane 3D node. And I'm going to start with the media in on node. So let me click on it and drag it somewhere around here. Then with this media in on node selected, simply go to the right side of your tools bar, and here you will see this image plane 3D node. Just click to add it. Now in order to process the 3D scene, we'll need another node called render 3D. So to get this, simply go around here, and this is our render 3D node. Click to add it as well. And now what we are going to do is take the output of our render 3D node and connect it with the output of our background node. Once you do it, you will see our clip is visible. Okay, now let me do a little bit of adjustments. I will just select this render 3D and merge node, and then place them somewhere around here. Then I will click on this image plane 3D node and place it somewhere around here. Okay, now let's convert rest of the nodes into 3D. So I will click on this media in 2 node and drag it somewhere around here. Then with this node selected, simply go to the right side of your tools bar and add an image plane 3D node. Let's do the same for the last node. Click on this media in 3 node and drag it somewhere around here and add an image plane 3D node to it as well. And now what we're going to do is take the output of this image plane 3D 3 node and connect it with the output of our image plane 3D 2 node. Once you do it, it will connect via a merge node. Now take the output of this merge 3D node, then connect it with the output of our image plane 3D on node, and we'll have another merge node. Now the reason we're using two merge nodes because the first one helps us control these two nodes, and it also makes it easier to create copies of both clips. Now the next thing we're going to do is rename each of our important nodes so that we don't get confused later on. And I'll start in this merge 3D 2 node, so let me just click on it, then simply press F2 and rename it however you like. I'm going to call it main merge. Press enter to save it. Then I will click on this image plane 3D on node, press F2, and I'm going to call this one BG click. Press enter to save it. Now let's click on this merge 3D on node, press F2, and let's call this one controller. press enter to save it as well. And just like that, do the same for these two nodes. I'm going to call this one top and this one bottom. Okay, so now there's two more things that we need to do before we get into the animation. And the first thing is we need to make the bottom section of our image visible. Then we need to adjust our clip so that it fits properly with the viewer. Now the reason the bottom section of our image is not visible because all of our clips are on the same plane and this BG clip is actually overlapping the bottom part. So in order to see it, we need to adjust the Z position of our BG clip. To make you understand properly, I will simply click on this main merge node and drag it to the viewer. So this is our 3D space. Now if I press Alt and hold the middle mouse button, then drag it, you will see only the statue images visible, and that's why we need to adjust their position so that we can see them properly, and it will also help us create the depth for the 3D animation. And the reason we're going to adjust the BG clip because this one will reveal through the tunnel, so we need to put it behind. In order to adjust it, just click on this BG clip, then go to the inspector and switch to the transform tab. And here you will see this Z offset. Double click on this box and I'm going to change the value to -4. Let me click here on to apply the changes, and now if I go to the viewer and drag it down, you will see we have our BG clip around this place, and in between these two clips we have this empty area, and it is important because you are going to make copies of this clip and those copies will appear somewhere around here. So now let's create the copy of this clip. For that, just click on this controller node, then press Ctrl plus space and search for duplicate 3D. Press enter to add it. Now just go to the inspector and here you will see this option called copies. Double click on this last box and change the value to however you like. I'm going to keep it around 6 and then click here on to apply the changes, and now we have 6 copies of the image, but we cannot see it because they are on the same plane, so we need to adjust their Z position. And to do this, simply go around here and here you will see this Z offset. Just double click on this box and change the value to something like -0.5 or 0.4, however you like. I'm going to keep it -0.5. Then I will just click around here to apply the changes and we'll have something like this. I believe I'm going to adjust their position a little bit more. So let me just click on this Z offset box and drag it slightly. I believe somewhere around -0.55 looks good. Now let me just click on this media out node and drag it to the viewer. Alright, so now let's adjust the clip so that it fits properly with the viewer. And we can do this by adding the camera node. So go around here and we'll have this camera 3D node. Just click on it and drag it somewhere around this place. Then take the output of this camera node and connect it with the main merge. The moment you connect it, you will see our clip has zoomed quite a bit. So we need to adjust it until it fits properly with the viewer. And to do this, simply go to the inspector, then switch to the transform tab, and here we gotta adjust the Z offset. So let me just click on this Z box and drag it to the right side. Keep adjusting it until it fits properly with the viewer. I believe somewhere around 1.65 looks good. Alright, now let's create the animation. And first I want to create the mouth opening animation, then we'll create the camera zoom animation. Okay, so in order to create the mouth animation, just click on this top node, then go to frame 0, and at this point simply go to the inspector, then switch to the transform tab and add a keyframe for the Y offset. Now just move to frame 20 and at this point click on this Y offset box and drag it to the right side. Keep dragging it until you get a proper view. I believe somewhere around 0.175 looks good, so I'm going to keep it around here. Now we have to do the same for the bottom clip. So let me click on this bottom node and go to frame 0. Then simply go to the inspector, switch to the transform tab and add a keyframe for the Y offset. Now let's move to frame 20 and at this point click on this Y offset box and drag it to the left side. I guess I'm going to keep it somewhere around -0.36. Now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you will see we'll have something like this. And I believe it's looking pretty good, but we can make it even more better by adjusting the curve. So let's do this. Simply go to the top right section of DaVinci Resolve and here you'll see this plane tab icon. Just click to open it. Now let me just go around here, then I will click here and drag it somewhere around this place. Then let me select this Y offset box and click on this zoom to fit icon. Now let me just simply select the keyframes. Then I will go around here and right click, and from this menu look for this option called ease, and from here we are going to choose the incubic. So simply select it and now we have the curve like this. Now let me just double click on this Y offset box, deselect it and select this one. Click on this zoom to fit icon, just select the keyframes, right click here, go to the ease section and choose the incubic. Now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you will see we have the animation like this. And I believe it's looking pretty cool. But if you want, you can also choose the out cubic. That will just make the animation faster in the beginning, okay? Now let's do the camera animation. So click on this camera 3D node, then just go to frame 0 And at this point, go to the inspector and add a keyframe for the Z offset. Now this time, simply move to frame 30, go to the inspector, click on the Z offset box and drag it to the left side. Keep dragging it until it reveals our clip properly. I believe I'm going to keep it somewhere around minus 2.46. Now to make it even more interesting, I'm going to add a rotation animation. So for that, simply go to frame 0, then go to the inspector and add a keyframe for the Z camera, then move to frame 30 and at this point, just click on the Z camera box and drag it to the left side. So let me just keep it at minus 10. I believe it's looking good. But we have a problem. Because of this rotation, it has revealed this empty area. So we need to fix it. And to do this, we need to adjust the rotation of our BG clip. And on that clip, we need to use the same value as this one. So I will just go and double click on this Z rotation box. Then press Ctrl plus C to copy this value. And now what I'm going to do is click on this BG clip, then go to the inspector and double click on this Z rotation box and paste the value by pressing Ctrl plus V. Then we click here on to apply the changes and now you see it has fixed the empty area and our clip is back to normal. So now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you'll see it's looking something like this. And it's actually kind of weird because our camera animation is linear. So we need to adjust its curves in order to fix it. Just go to the spline tab, then let me double click on this top box to deselect it. Then I will just click on this zoom to fit icon, then select these two keyframes, then right click on this empty area, go to this ease section and choose the incubic. And now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you will see it's looking something like this. And I believe it's already looking pretty cool. Okay, so I was actually doing something and I realized that for the mouth opening animation, it's better to use the ease out curve. And the current curve I am using is actually this one. So in order to create it, what you have to do is simply select all of these keyframes. Then you can just go around here on this empty area, right click, go to this edge section and choose the out cubic. Once you select the out cubic, you will have a curve like this. Now you just have to take this handle and drag it somewhere around here. And you have to do the same for this handle. Just click on it and drag it somewhere around here as well. Now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you will see it's looking something like this. And I believe this one is actually looking better than the first one, but it's actually up to you. You can use whatever curve you like. I'm going with this one. Okay, now what we're going to do is add a mask on this BG clip and animate it. So to do this, just click on this media in one node and add a ellipse mask to it. So once you add the mask, you will have something like this. So now let me just click on this ellipse node and drag it somewhere around here. Then I will select these two nodes and drag them around here just to rearrange them properly. Okay, now we got to adjust the mask. So click on this ellipse node. Then I will just go to the viewer and click around here and bring it down slightly. So let me just keep the value to somewhere around 0.3 maybe. And now just animate it. So go to frame 0, then simply go to the inspector and add a keyframe for the width and also for the height. Now move to frame 30 and at this point, click on this width and drag it all the way up. Then click on this height and drag it all the way up. And for this one, we need to adjust the curve as well. So let me just deselect this bottom and top box. Then click on the zoom to fit icon. Simply select the keyframes. Right click on this empty area. Go to the edge section and choose the incubic. Now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it. You will see it's looking something like this. The mask is actually revealing faster than the camera animation, but we want it to reveal as the camera moves. So we need to fix quite a few things. And the first thing I'm going to fix is the curve. So let me just go around here and deselect this hide box. Then click on the zoom to fit icon. And now what I'm going to do is take this handle and drag it somewhere around here. Then I will take this bottom handle and drag it around this place. So let's keep it around here. Now let's do the same for the height. So let me double click on this width box to deselect it. Then select this height box. Click on this zoom to fit icon. Just select the keyframes. Then take this handle and drag it somewhere around here. Now also take this handle and drag it around this place. Now let's go to frame 0. Then double click here and play it. So this is how it's looking and I believe it's looking better than before and it's actually quite fast. Now if I go somewhere around here, you will notice the edges of our mask is actually quite harsh. So we are going to add a little bit feather in order to make it a little bit soft. So to do this, simply go to the inspector and here you will see the soft edges. Just click on the slider and drag it to the right side. Let's keep the value to somewhere around 0.037 maybe. Now let's go to frame 0, then double click here and play it once again. So this is how it's looking and I believe it's looking pretty cool. Now to make it even more better, what we're going to do is add stars in the background. That will just give a space-like feel, and for that you can either use the particles or you can use a video with star background. I actually have a video that I'm going to use and it will be available in the project files as well. So if you want, you can use it. So let me just go to the media pool and drag the star VG to the workspace. Let me just place it somewhere around here and convert it into 3D by adding an image clone 3D node. Now I will just take the output of this image clone 3D node and connect it with the main merge. Now we have to adjust its position. So let's go to the inspector, then switch to the transform tab. We need to adjust the Z offset. Now since this is a background, it will be behind everything. So let me just double click on the Z offset box and change the value to something like minus 4.5. Let's click here on to apply the changes, and now we have our starry background, but it's actually quite small, so we need to adjust its size a little bit. So let me just scroll down and here you will see the size. Just click on the slider and drag it to the right side until it fits properly with the viewer. And now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you will see our starry background is not actually filling properly. So let's go to the inspector and adjust the scale a little bit more. I guess I'm going to keep it somewhere around 4.4. Now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you will see we'll have something like this. But I believe I have to adjust it a little bit more because at this area we have this tunnel like thing, so I don't want it to appear. And to fix it, I will just click on this image plane 3D node, and I believe I'm going to adjust the scale to all the way up to 5. Then I will just adjust the X offset a little bit. So let me just click here and drag it somewhere around here. And now let's just go to frame 0, double click here and play it to see how it's looking. I believe it's looking better than before, although we can still adjust it, but for now I'm going to keep it as it is, okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is add a little bit of shadow in the top and bottom parts of our mouth. So to do this, I will just take on this media in 3 node, then press Ctrl plus space and search for drop shadow. Press enter to add it, and the moment you add the shadow, will have something like this. If you want, you can adjust it, but I'm going to go with the default value, okay? Now let me just click on this shadow node and copy it by pressing Ctrl plus C. Then I'm going to click on this media in 2 node and paste the shadow by pressing Ctrl plus V. Now even though we have pasted it, you see we have no shadows in the bottom clip. And to fix it, we need to adjust the drop angle. So to do this, simply go to the inspector and here you will see this drop angle. Just click on this slider and drag it to the left side. Let's keep it somewhere around minus 37 maybe, and it's already looking pretty cool. But we can make it even more better by adding some overlays. And to do this, simply open the edit page. Alright, so here I did a little bit of adjustments behind the scene, and the first thing I had to do is increase the size of this BG clip in order to hide the edges, and then I had to animate the shadow strand of this bottom clip because it was overlapping the top clip. So these are some minor adjustments which I know you can do it on your own, so I'm not going to show it, okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is add a subtle movement in our first clip so that it doesn't look still. And to do this, just place the playback head on top of it and open it in the Fusion page. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is add a little bit of displacement to this image, and to do this, just click on this media in on node, then press Ctrl plus space and search for the displace node. Press enter to add it. Now in order to use the displace node, we need another node called fast noise, and you can get it from the left side of your toolbar. So this is the fast noise node. Just click and drag it to the workspace. Now take the output of this fast noise node and connect it with the green input of our displace node. Now just select this displace node, then go to frame 0, and at this point simply go to the inspector, and here you see this refraction strength. Add a keyframe to it, then click on this slider and drag it to the right side. Let's keep the value to somewhere around 0.86. Now just go to the end of our composition, double click on this refraction box and change the value to 0. Let me click here on to apply the changes, and we'll have something like this. Now let's also adjust the curve. So I'll click on this zoom to fit icon, then select the keyframes and press S on your keyboard. And that's all we needed to do. Now I also want to add a subtle zoom in animation for this image. And to do this, just add a transform node to it. Then make sure that you're at the end of your composition, and at this point add a keyframe for this size. Then go to frame 0. Now just go to the inspector, double click on this size box and change the value to 0.9. Let's click here on to apply the changes, and we'll have something like this. Now we need to hide this empty area, so go to this edges section, click here and change the edges to mirror. Now let me just deselect this displace box, then click on this zoom to fit icon, just select the keyframes and press S on your keyboard. Now let's open it in the edit page. Now if I play it, you will see we have something like this. It may not look good right now, but when we add the overlay, it will look much better. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. to apply the overlay, I'm going to use adjustment clip. So let me go to the top left side of DaVinci Resolve, and here you can see this effects icon. Just click on it. Then in the toolbox, we have this effects section. Click on it, and on the right side, we have our adjustment clip. Now click and drag it to the timeline, then place it in the beginning of our composition. Now let me just go to the end of our clip, then press Ctrl plus B, select the right side of it and press backspace to delete it. Then place the playback head on top of it and open it in the Fusion page. Okay, so here we have to do two things. First, we are going to add the lens flare overlay, then we'll add the black bars. Now once again, all of the files that I am using in this edit are available on the project files, so go ahead and download it. Now let's add the overlay. So to do this, just go to the media pool, then click on it and drag it to the workspace. Take its output and connect it with the output of our media in on node. So this is how it looks like. Now for this overlay, we need to animate the opacity. But before that, I want to do a little bit of adjustments. So what I want is this rays to appear from the left side. And to do this, just go to the inspector, and here you will see this flip option. Just click on this horizontal flip button, and now it's appearing from the left side. Okay, now let's do the animation. So go to frame 0, and at this point simply go to the inspector, and here you will see the blend option. Add a keyframe for this, then move to frame 10, go to the inspector and decrease the blend to 0. Let's click on this zoom to fit icon, select the keyframes, then go to this empty area, right click, go to the edge section and choose the incubic. Okay, now let's add the black bars. To create the black bars, we need to use the background node. So with this merge node selected, add a background node to it. Now let me just rearrange it. I'll click here and drag it around this place, and then click on this background node and place it around here. Now let's create the black bars. So to do this, just add a rectangle mask to it, then go to the inspector and invert the mask. Now let me just go to the viewer, then click here and drag it like this. Then I'm going to click on this height and drag it around here. Let's keep it around 0.94. Now we have to animate this as well. So let's go to frame 0. Simply go to the inspector and add a keyframe for the height. Now let's move to frame 10, and at this point add another keyframe for the height. Now what we're going to do is move somewhere around here where the animation ends. So it ends at frame 42. And at this point, we'll just adjust the height a little bit. So let me click here and drag it downwards like this. Let's keep it somewhere around here, I guess. Alright, now we have to adjust the curve. So let me just go here and deselect this merge box. Then click on this zoom to fit icon. Select these two keyframes. Then go to this empty area, right click, go to the edge section and choose the incubic. Now let's go to the edit page. Okay, so now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you will see we have something like this. And it's already looking pretty cool, but we can make it even more better by adding some speed lines and another overlay. So let's do this. First, let's add the overlay. So let me go to the media pool, then click and drag it to the timeline. Now place it in the beginning of our second clip. Then go to the end of the composition. Click on it, press Ctrl plus B. Now select the right side of it and press backspace to delete it. Now let me place the playback head on top of it. Then click on this clip, go to the inspector, and here we have this composite mode. Just click here and search for the screen option. So here it is. Simply click to select it, and now we can see our clip with the speed lines, but the opacity is actually quite too high. So I'm going to click on this slider and drag it down to the left side slightly. Now what we have to do is animate the opacity according to the movement of our camera. So to do this, just go to the beginning of our second clip, then go to the inspector and add a keyframe for the opacity. Now let's move a few frames forward, maybe somewhere around frame 20 or 21, and at this point go to the inspector once again and add a keyframe for the opacity. Then click on this mini arrow to go to the first keyframe, then click on this opacity slider and drag it down to 0. Now move once again forward by simply pressing shift and right arrow. At this point our camera animation ends, so we don't need speed line here. So let's add a keyframe to it. Now from here go backward 10 frames, which will be 1 second and 2 frames. And at this point add another keyframe for the opacity. Then click on this right arrow to go to the last keyframe and click on this opacity slider and bring it down to 0. Now let's adjust the curve. So go to the left side and click on this keyframes editor. Now click here to expand it. Then let me simply select these two keyframes. Then go around here and click on this mini arrow to expand it. And from here choose this ease in option. Now let's select this last two keyframes. Then go around here, and for this one we're going to choose the ease out. Let me just click here to close it. Then if I go to frame 0, double click here and play it, you'll see we have something like this, and I believe it's looking pretty cool. Now let's add the last overlay. So let me switch to the media pools tab, then click on this lens flare and drag it to the timeline. Let's place it in the beginning of our composition. Now I will go to the end of this clip, then press Ctrl+B to make a cut, select it, press backspace to delete it. Now let's place the playback head on top of it, then select this clip, go to the inspector, and we have to change the composite mode. So click here, scroll down until you see the screen option. So here it is, and this is how it's looking. Now we have to do a little bit of adjustment for this clip. So I will just go around here and scroll up, and I want to increase the zoom a little bit. So let me click here and increase the zoom slightly. Then I'm going to adjust the Y position slightly. Let's keep it around here. And let's also adjust the X position. Let's keep it around here. I just wanted to hide that white flash. Okay. Now if I go to frame 0, then double click here and play it, you will see we have something like this. And that's how you create this amazing 3D tunnel transition inside the free version of DaVinci Resolve. If you want to learn more AMV techniques, then make sure to check out my AMV tutorials playlist and also the anime VFX playlist. And make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video. Till then, see ya.